What's going on, guys? We finally got some big moves in Europe. There's been a lot of teams that have disbanded that were, a tier 2, tier 3 team. I'm not going to really talk about them today. Maybe we'll do a bigger video where we start ranking them all. Surprise, surprise, probably pretty much all of them are going to be in tier 2 because that's just how Europe is. They're a deep region, a lot of talented players. Some of them could pop off moving to tier 1, but tier 1 is pretty stacked in Europe right now. So we're going to talk about the tier 1 teams and what is going on. So, first off, no news on Vitality. We know that for now. Who knows what happens there? I think the only chance something happens there is Rado maybe getting the boot, but it's looking doubtful, but who knows? Maybe that's a possibility. Then we got BDS, which right now, it was the first big splash. Rise is an unrestricted free agent. His contract with BDS has ended. He's exploring options, but he has not said that he's not going to return to BDS. It's possible that he still goes back to BDS. So that's that first domino, where he's available. He's going to look at his options, but he could wind up just going back with BDS. Obviously, the number 2 team in the world, Rise, Monkey Moon, and Seiko. So we'll see if that plays out if Rise decides to make a move. The big splash, K-Corp, the Tira, has taken full control of this team. They're building around him. Coach is gone. Exotic and Itachi are gone. It's just Vatira's show right now. So he's going to look, find who he thinks are the best available players. Very likely, they're only going to be tier 1 players. So we'll see what he comes up with. The ideas are, Team Liquid hasn't said anything yet, but I can guarantee you, like I would say at least, that they're going to make a move, right? They've always been a tier below the top 3 in Europe. They're going to have to do something to get into that conversation. With Vatira open, maybe some Team Liquid players go there. Who knows? But they're available. The thing you will not see is Monkey Moon and Vatira teaming up. There was tryouts last year between Winter and Spring Split. Vatira almost joined BDS. It didn't work out. It felt like Monkey Moon and Vatira were on top of each other's toes at times. They decided to not make that move. So it's not going to happen. Monkey Moon's in a long-term BDS contract right now, so he is going to stay there. Vatira is obviously being built around with K-Corp, so he's going to stay there. Monkey Moon has said on Twitter that he's not leaving BDS. Players lie, so it's possible, but I would say it's doubtful that Vatira and Monkey Moon team up. On the other side, Rise, free agent. I hear that Vatira and Rise make good teammates, We don't know exactly, like if their falling out has long-term effects of I don't really want to team with them anymore. Who knows? They didn't end on the greatest note. That there was some weird stuff going on, but it didn't seem anything too crazy. So it's possible that Vatira and Rise team up yet again. The other player, I hear Joyo would be a good third for that type of team. Joyo as well. So I wouldn't really call Moist a tier 1 team. I would call them more of a tier 2. But I guess you have to have a 5th, so I guess they would be tier 1. But they're definitely way behind both Liquid and then way behind the French 3, right? Joyo is being built around on Moist. So we see Cash and Juicy gone, and we'll see what they build around there. So I would say there's a small chance. I would say it's a better chance that Joyo joins a Vatira than a Monkey Moon joins a Vatira, just because even though a team is building around them, it is possible that Moist would sell Joyo a buyout to K-Corp. I don't see K-Corp losing Vatira. I don't see that in any world, but I see a very, very small chance that maybe Moist is let's let Joyo go there. But again, I'm saying that's maybe a 5% shot, right? So Joyo's trying to build the team. Not really sure who he gets necessarily. I would probably put, we're not going to talk too much about the free agent tier list right now for Europe. But if we did, I would probably put Joyo in tier 1 with those top 4 teams. And then after that, you have 2 spots open, if you want a 15-player tier 1. And I honestly don't know who I would put in there. Because I think after Joyo, it kind of gets gray. And there's a lot of players in Europe that are available. So my assumption, my guess is if Vitality is the same team, I could see Vatira looking for talent in either Rise or some of the Team Liquid boys. I would think it would be Atto or Oski. It could be that team. It could be Vatira, Oski, and Atto. It's possible. BDS obviously has to fill a spot right now. I think, and this is if Vitality is the same. Vitality could also look to fill a spot. I could see them thinking it's an upgrade to do a Rise for a Rado. I could see it. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll see how that all plays out. I think BDS looking for their third. You have two great options from K Corp that just got bounced out with Exotic and Itachi. I personally would rather Exotic than Itachi, but Itachi is incredibly good as well. So I think either one could work on BDS if Rise goes somewhere else. But the main thing in Europe is trying to catch up to Vitality. And I think for any of these tier 1 teams, like any of those top 4 teams, any combination of those players are probably going to give you the best option to catch up to a Vitality. I would put Joyo in that category as well, depending on his teammates. It's possible. But I think you have a better shot probably with some of those players from the top 4 teams. The thing we haven't heard from yet is Team Liquid. There hasn't been too much talk. There was like one kind of like ominous tweet. I think it was from a Chronic. I can't remember who it was from. I'm not sure. But yeah, so we'll see. With Team Liquid, it's up in the air. But I think to catch up to Vitality right now, either Vitality makes a move because they think people are catching up to them. I think it would be kind of hard to make that move now. Like Rado had a very good World Championship, like incredibly good. Could have won the MVP award. But I could still see it in a small scale. I would say like 20% chance, maybe. So if they do make that move, then I think they pick up probably an Exotic or Itachi. I don't think they would go for Rise, but I'm not sure. BDS, I could see them not making a move at all because they were so good with Rise and they were so close to being the best team that maybe they just run it back, right? Try again for next season. So that's possible. But again, if Rise wants to leave, if he chooses a different option, then I think BDS will fill those shoes with an Exotic or Itachi as well. Like I think Exotic and Itachi will be fine because of they are very talented players. They could even duo and pick up a third. I could see them both going to like a Joyo and playing that team out. It wouldn't be probably as strong. It's hard to replace a Vatira, but it's possible that the team chemistry could get better. So it's not the end of the world if it's like, we're just going to replace a Vatira with another solid player. So that's possible too. We'll see how it all plays out. I think the top of the Europe is very interesting. I think the middle of Europe is just there's so many options available that it's hard to discuss too much in full yet. There was a tournament of this weekend where a bunch of them played in. Maybe we'll do a recap in my next video. I'm not really sure. But I think a lot of those players are going to try and play with different teammates throughout this offseason and see what fits, see what results they can get to see if they can move into that tier 1. Because right now, there's still like those 4 teams, right? Even if there's a Vatira by himself, he's still a threat. He's going to be a top 4 team in Europe, right? Team Liquid, depending on what they do, a top 4 team in Europe. They could consolidate. That's very possible. But there's at least one spot that's pretty much wide open for the top 5 in Europe, and that was Moist spot with Joyo, who they're trying to build around. So we'll see who joins Joyo. It could be 2 tier 2 players that Joyo really likes that elevates them up into that tier 1 conversation. But that really comes down to just a lot of play, a lot of scrims, a lot of mix-up scrims with all these players because there's a ton of them. Ton of talent in Europe, and we're just waiting for that next big player to emerge. And I could very easily see that next year we get one of those players that just like, oh, wow, he is actually fantastic. He just needed better teammates with him. Very possible. So we'll see how it all plays out. Europe is a mess right now. But at the top, it's very interesting because we know how talented those three players are from K Corp and also from Rise, that we could see some crazy team ups happening to see if they can challenge a Vitality. But until we find out more information from either Vitality or Team Liquid, here's where we are. We'll see what Vatira does to build around him. We'll see where Rise goes. But for now, a lot of question marks. That's going to happen in the offseason. But a lot of interesting conversations around who could team up with who. So we'll see how it all plays out. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again on Thursday probably for a video this week. Sorry, no video on Monday, Labor Day. It was hectic. We were at a wedding Sunday night. Went to play laser tag with the kiddos and arcade and all that stuff on Monday. So they had a nice little holiday. So Giblet or Gibster was a menace. My 3-year-old was just charging me down, shooting me in the back. Absolute menace. But that's for another day. So we'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.